In a world where life hinges on the most fragile, there is a silent truth. If the small ones disappear, the entire ecosystem collapses with them. In this frozen land, it is not the great predators that maintain balance, but the smallest creatures, those that almost no one notices. This is not just a tale of displacement. It is a mission of resilience, where tiny beings uphold the existence of a realm of ice. And before our journey begins, tell us from where you are joining us. It is an honor to share this story with those who love nature, from any corner of the planet. Welcome to Wild Alaska, a crossing through the frozen empire of survival. Winter in Alaska does not yield to the calendar. It lasts until life withstands. In the far west, where Pacific winds cut through coniferous forests, each tree turns into a frozen sculpture. The sun, shy, appears for only a few hours. The land sleeps. Fish vanish under the thick ice. Hunger grows. It is in this setting that the bald eagle remains. While so many species migrate to escape, it chooses to stay and fight. Adults gather in the last cracks of the rivers, where water still flows. Not for comfort, but because there, and only there, is there still a chance to fish what remains. These birds know every curve of the frozen rivers. They know where the ice first gives way, where hope persists. They do not retreat from difficulty. They fight in silence, between sharp talons and trained eyes. And watching from afar is a young eagle. Its plumage still lacks the marks of maturity. It will take years until its head turns white and its tail too. Until then, it will have no territory, nor the right to contest. As winter advances, resources become scarcer, and the struggle among eagles becomes merciless. Here, only those who resist survive. But the ice is not eternal, and when the sea begins to breathe, the reward approaches. It is March. The veil of mist lifts, revealing the cold vastness of the Alaska Sea. From the depths, like a storm of silver, schools of herring return. The coast brightens with their shimmer, and this ancestral migration rekindles the cycle of life. On the seaside trees and ocean-facing cliffs, eagles gather in numbers never seen before, and they are not alone. Emerging from the depths are the stellar sea lions, which spent the winter hidden. Now they return to the surface, lurking in the sea, waiting, not for beauty, but for a miracle about to unfold. When the herring finally emerge, the scene transforms. A silver swarm breaks the line of waves, tracing the sea with light and movement. And in an instant, silence gives way to frenzy. The sea lions are the first to respond. Like living arrows, they dive in perfect synchrony, guiding the schools to the surface with precision almost choreographed. From above, the eagles watch and then dive. The ambush is complete. The sea boils. The fish break the surface in successive waves, turning the water into liquid silver. Every year, at this same time, millions of herring return to the cold waters of Alaska to fulfill the ancient call of reproduction. With them, they bring not just offspring, but a renewed promise of abundance. This year, however, there is something different. There are so many that their presence tinges the bay with a shimmering white. The tide is alive. The stellar sea lions no longer need to hunt far out to sea. Now they simply encircle the fish, guiding them to the shallow banks. As for the bald eagles, once warriors of the air, they now perch at the water's edge. They need not fly. They sit motionless like sovereigns, waiting for the ocean to deposit food at their feet. The hunt becomes celebration, the reward for enduring the dark months of winter, for resisting when almost nothing else did. But the storm of life does not stop there. The roar that pierces the surface echoes deep in the sea and awakens giants. From the abyss emerge the monumental shadows of humpback whales. With the hunger of a long crossing, they approach the coast silently. Each of them, with their immense bodies, needs nearly 100 kilograms of fish per day. And now, before them, the sea offers itself in festivity. But these titans do not attack on impulse. They act with refined strategy. They form a group, descend beneath the schools, and begin their deadly dance. Jets of bubbles are released around their prey, creating an invisible prison, an ascending cylinder of air. The trapped fish rise in desperation, but it is too late. All the whales ascend in unison, mouths open, swallowing the silver storm that had no escape. And so, because of creatures almost microscopic, an entire ocean transforms. With the herring come seabirds from distant lands. Algae explode in growth, fed by millions of eggs and the bodies that did not complete the cycle. Plankton flourishes. Small fish are drawn in. Soon come the larger ones, and behind them, the predators. The sea fills with oxygen. The currents stabilize. And under the cold northern waters, a new cycle of life begins, as if the ocean itself breathed anew. Even the forests that line the coast, with their roots far from the waves, reap the fruits of this explosion of marine life. High up, in the tallest branches of the pines, young bald eagles receive their daily meal, pieces of herring brought by their parents. With each fish, the strength of an entire ecosystem pulses anew. Further down, fishermen's boats glide through the icy waters. Their nets seek more than food and rescue a tradition that has spanned generations, shaped by the rhythm of the tides. And at the center of it all, a tiny fish, the herring, carries on its scales the sustenance of an entire world. It not only feeds the present, it supports the future. In the vast blue of the North Pacific, millions of creatures respond to an invisible call. They do not flee, they return. It is the salmon. After years wandering the cold oceans of the Northern Hemisphere, something within them awakens. An ancient, silent force guides each fish back to the source from whence they came. They need no maps, no guide. They follow the memory etched into their senses, crossing seas from Japan, Russia, and Canada towards the waters of Alaska. As soon as they cross the coastal currents, they do not find welcome, but predators. High in the skies and on the wet rocks of the shores, bald eagles wait, motionless. In Bristol Bay, where the first schools touch the river's mouth, they need not hunt. They merely watch. When a salmon breaks the surface, a single precise peck is enough. Talons like blades and eyes like darts. And even the gulls partake in the feast, not with skill, but with opportunism. They dive upon the remains, mixing into the ordered chaos of abundance. But this is only the first stage. The salmons that escape the fate in talons still must face the greatest challenge: to swim up the river. And the ascent is not just physical. It is a battle against their own bodies. From the moment they leave the sea, they stop feeding. All remaining energy is reserved for reproduction, and as they advance, they begin to change. The skin takes on a fiery red. The dorsal fin rises, rigid. The male's jaw curves, transforming him into an almost mythical figure. All this for a single act: to mate once in a lifetime. In the rapids of the Kvichak River, the spectacle reaches its zenith. The waters roar and the salmons leap one after another, trying to overcome the current's strength. But they are not alone. From distant forests, from icy valleys, dozens of brown bears arrive, guided by the smell of migration. They do not hunt in groups, but they spread out like warriors on a battlefield. The oldest and most experienced dominate the tallest rocks, where the fish are forced to jump. A single movement and the meal is secured. Further down, young bears wander the wide part of the river. They run, dive, stumble, and fight over the remains left by the stronger ones. Sometimes they get nothing. At other times, tensions explode. A piece of wet, slippery rock may be worth a fierce struggle. Because in that strategic position, the salmon's leap turns into opportunity. Life in Alaska moves in cycles of resistance, reward, and rebirth. And at the heart of this wild dance, a fish defies mountains, seas, and predators to ensure that everything begins anew. The salmon is the key to life in the wild rivers of Alaska, and for the brown bears, it means survival. On the eve of hibernation, each bear needs to consume thousands of calories per day, and the salmons offer exactly what they seek: fat and energy. But it is not about devouring every fish whole. In full abundance, the bears make choices. With precision, they open the bodies of the salmons and take only the belly, where the eggs and richest fat accumulate. The rest, discarded on the shores, feeds a second chain: crows, wolves, otters, and all those who benefit from the remains left by the giants of the forests. After crossing rapids, leaping waterfalls, and resisting predator attacks, the salmons reach a critical stage of their journey: Iliamna Lake, one of the largest freshwater lakes in North America, an untouched mirror between snow-capped mountains, where cold, oxygen-rich streams meet. It is here that the survivors take a pause. The females need time, their eggs still in formation, and the final battle approaches. But even these calm waters offer no safety. At the bottom of the lake, among motionless stones, the threat already awaits. A harbor seal, patient and silent, blends into the scene. In the early days, it tried pursuit, but realized that even exhausted, the salmons were too swift. So it stopped. It ceased swimming. It hid in the shadows below, as still as a rock. Only its eyes move, following the silver trail above. When a fish descends a little too low, there is no alarm, no splash, just a swift strike, and it disappears. Life ends without resistance, and the school, oblivious to the danger lurking below, continues swimming. When they finally reach their place of origin, the salmons find the same stream where they were born: the cold current, the fine gravel, the sanctuary where life began. But it is not yet the end. They must face the last trial, to fight against their own kind. The instinct to reproduce transforms the males. The red skin intensifies, the jaw grows and curves like a blade. They clash violently, push, bite, tear scales, all for space beside the female. It is not about brute strength, but persistence. Those who endure the longest are the ones who remain. When she chooses, she digs the nest in the gravel with the strength of her tail, forming a whirlpool where she deposits her eggs. The male follows, fulfilling the ultimate purpose of his existence. The mission is complete, and then, as if life has completed its cycle, the bodies begin to give way. The vibrant color fades. Slowly, they sink among the icy stones of the stream, becoming part of the earth that saw them born. But when everything seems to end in the silence of death, that is when a new story begins. The bodies of the salmons, now resting on the riverbed, are not just the end of a cycle. They are seeds of renewal. As they decompose, they fertilize the banks, feed the insects, enrich the soil. And this soil, in turn, nurtures gigantic trees that grow stronger, greener, more alive than anywhere else. An entire forest breathes thanks to the sacrifice of these ocean travelers. Scientists have already proven what nature has always known. The presence of salmon transforms the landscape. Each lost fish is a gift poured upon the land. Shrimp, birds, otters, even the bears that devoured them, all are shaped by this final silent offering. The energy that moves this land does not come only from the sun or rain, but from creatures that dare to return, fight, and fall. And thus Alaska reveals its greatest lesson. It is not brute strength that ensures survival in this empire of ice. It is the courage to return, the obstinacy to fulfill a destiny, even when everything seems impossible. Because sometimes, the smallest beings are those that sustain the giants. A fish can feed an eagle, a stream can raise a forest, and a death can be the birth of thousands of lives. Our journey through these untamed lands comes to an end, but the cycle of nature continues. With every season, new stories unfold under the snow, among the rivers, in the heart of silence. If this crossing has touched you, leave your support with a like, subscribe to follow new journeys, and share in the comments from what part of the world you are watching us. Thank you for being with us until the last second. See you in the next adventure.